Tall men are more likely to reproduce, more likely to get married, have more romantic partners, and are rated as more attractive by women compared to short men. I'm a scientist studying human mating. Here's why women love tall men. First, energetically, as a mammal, it's just practically very difficult to grow tall. And so if you are tall, it's a sign that you were well nourished and healthy during development. Second, height obviously has a genetic component. And since height is attractive, there is a circular benefit where women who select men who are tall are more likely to have tall sons who are more likely to reproduce themselves. Third, you have to consider that height is a real advantage in male-male combat. Sure, there are exceptions like Gervonta who beat up taller guys, but in Finlay's analysis of over 30 years of heavyweight boxing, he found that winners were on average taller than losers. I personally would starve down to 165 pounds to compete in amateur boxing when I was younger, because frankly, it's just easier to win in a fist fight if you are taller than someone. You can hit them from distances where they can't hit you. Now, I'm not saying that women think about these benefits consciously, but what I am saying is that it's pretty mainstream thinking in my field to suspect that women in our ancestry who preferred tall men benefited from better protection as well as more robust genes for their offspring. These genetic and defensive benefits made the offspring of these women more likely to survive, reproduce, and pass on their mother's preference for taller men, making this preference common in women today. And when you understand this theoretical landscape, it makes sense why even shorter than average women prefer taller than average men, because it's not really about conforming to the social norm of having a male partner who's taller than yourself. I mean, I'm sure that's part of it, but the main foundation here is reaping the evolutionary benefits of a male who is taller than other males. Now, these preferences are not laws. It does seem that there are some groups, such as among the Datoga people of Tanzania, where women do not consistently prefer taller men. And in this case, Sorokowski and Butovskaya hypothesized that it may be because there's frequent violence from men towards women in this group, and so a large male is more of a threat than a defensive benefit. Another possibility they mentioned is that in regions where women frequently die from childbirth, a larger male who promises larger babies might be a bit of a liability. More research is needed. Now, a common question I get is there such thing as too tall? And having read a lot of this literature, I would tentatively say yes. It's pretty clear that being taller than average is better than being shorter than average, but these benefits become less clear past about 6'3". 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", it's all really attractive, but it's unclear if there's more benefit from being taller past that point. And once you get up to really tall, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", there is a plausible drop-off. It seems to be a slight one. I think you'd still be better off being basketball player tall than 5'10", but I should note that at 6'7", you're so rare that even if you are too tall for the median woman, for the women who like super tall men, you're probably the tallest man that those women will ever meet in person in their life, at least that they'll be able to talk to and get to know personally. And when you're out and about, you're just so striking at that height that I would say that the combination of rarity and presence that you get from that, it probably doesn't feel like a dating disadvantage to be that tall. If I had to guess, it probably feels like and functions as an advantage to be that tall, even considering that the average woman probably wouldn't select that height in the abstract. Now, if you're short, I'm not going to be like some of these people online and just spout comforting fictions. I think people have a right to accurate information, especially from researchers. But equally, I would also say that it is inaccurate to spout nonsense like, oh, you're doomed if you're under 5'8", or that height is the only thing that matters, or it's the number one thing. Those ideas, which are common, don't seem well supported either. While the effects I mentioned earlier are real, they're often small. It depends on which specific effect you're talking about, but for example, the odds of getting married as a short man, though they are lower than the odds of an average-sized or tall man getting married, they're not that much lower. But you also don't have to take my word for it. I mean, you can go for a walk and you'll see that there are plenty of short men who are happily in relationships. And you can also go online, you can look up male celebrities' heights, and you'll see that there are many men who are considered both short and sexy by women. There are many more things that make men attractive that are far more controllable and therefore far more worth thinking about. Most women select mates based on way more factors than just this one variable. And for what it's worth, there are some women who don't care about this. Thanks for listening. Until next time.